Hey everybody, Tag Teams back again. It's your old pal Josh Davenport back with another talkie time lapse for RGBros comics. Starting off with old Gil laying on the front steps of the house here in this episode. Gil with his weird peanut-shaped body. I think last time they called it a thumb. Weird thumb head. Baxter rocking the fanny pack, which used to be a major staple of his character. I still use it a lot, and it is definitely a part of who he is, but he doesn't wear it as much these days. Used to be, every time I drew him, I made sure to put the fanny pack on him. It was a big thing for me. Now I think he takes it a little less seriously. I don't know about you, how old you are listening to this just now, if you're a wee babe or an ancient mariner. But back in my day, when I was a kid, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, fanny packs, big deal. That was big stuff. Had myself a really cool one. Was neon pink and black, and it had a Nintendo Game Boy written on it. Showed people I meant business. Kept my business Game Boy in there in case I needed to throw down on some Tetris at any given moment. Yeah, it's one of the early comics. If you go all the way back to year one, so Baxter and Gilbert, classic. They're talking about fanny packs, which pretty sure Baxter compares the fanny pack to Batman's utility belt, which there's something to be said for having little pouch at your side. You can just get in and get stuff out. It's not, weighing down your pants and your pockets, your wallet, your keys. Slap those in there. A lot of people, ladies carry purses, dudes carry satchels, or, whatever. It's all of a kind. Fanny packs in that family. You can't deny it. Got Reggie rocking that dirt stash every day. Every day, rocking a dirt stash. Playing the old 3DS here on the front porch. Yeah. And if you've read the last couple of my comics, I've been giving Nintendo quite a bit of crap lately because of, the release issues with the NES Classic, and then there was like this special edition 3DS they put out on Black Friday. I was going to try and get it for my daughter because it was like $99. And I was like, surely there are going to be plenty of these things. Go out to the stores. There's nowhere. Not even do they not have those. They've like sold completely out of regular 3DSs. And 2DSs for that matter. Which just says to me that Nintendo just did not give them enough product, at all. And I've addressed that thoroughly. Doesn't mean I don't like Nintendo stuff. Clearly, I'm out there trying to get my hands on it. My grubby paws. My mitts, as a friend of mine likes to say. But, sometimes you give the most grief to the thing you love the most. Not that I love Nintendo the most of all, of everything. But, they're my jams when it comes to the games a lot of times. Now, this comic is mostly about getting a flu shot, and I talked about it a little bit in the news post that I had just gone to the doctor for the first time in like a decade because I didn't have insurance, and I was like, I can either buy video games or take care of myself, and it was always video games, every time. So, priorities, that's what mature people do. But I went to the doctor, and they were like, why don't you get a flu shot while you're here? So I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll get the flu shot. Why not? I don't want to get the flu. But then, of course, I win that special lottery where I get the flu shot, and then all of a sudden I'm, feeling like crud, snotting all over the place. Luckily, I didn't start running a fever, but that was in the possible side effects area. And, at that point, having not had one in so long, part of my brain was like, I never felt like this from not getting a flu shot. But, it went away. I'm fine now. I don't have anything against getting flu shots. But I was like, it's a good thing. Exploit that mild conspiracy theorist part of my brain that popped out at that moment. It was like, they're getting you with the flu shot, man. They're going to do it. That was an interesting doctor's visit. I'm going to tell you a pretty embarrassing story here. So, I turned 34 this year, and from what I understand, I haven't been to the doctor in over a decade. There's certain tests you get around 34, 35 to kind of lay down a base layer, make sure you don't have cancer in two very private areas of your body, your balls and your butt. I'm just going to come out and say it. And so I hadn't been to the doctor forever. They're doing a physical, yearly checkup or whatever. I'm like, okay, I just assume ahead of time I'm going to have to do the old turn your head and cough. They're going to give me that part of the rigmarole of the treatment. Not looking forward to it. I just figured it was going to happen. So going to the doctor, they're taking my blood pressure, weighing me on the scale, asking me a bunch of questions about how I feel, and get the flu shot. Everything's going okay. They're like, yeah, we're going to have to, get you in the lab, test your blood, make sure everything's okay there. I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. And then we get to the very end of the session, if you will, and the doctor, I had a lady doctor. I just went in. I didn't request a lady specifically. I was just trying to get anybody I could to look at my busted old bones, and this lady happened to draw the short straw. Again, I don't have anything against women doctors. I wasn't trying to not get one or get one. It just happened. But it added to the awkwardness at the end of this interaction, because we got down to the end, and there had been a lot of stuff happening, but there was not the old, turn around and the testing of the ballistic fidelity, So she asked me, she's like, do you have any other questions for me? And I got a little nervous. You shouldn't get nervous. You should be able to talk to your doctor about your body. I mean, that's what they do. They went through medical school. They've seen horrors you wouldn't believe. And, whatever you got going on is probably not going to faze them at all, or whatever you're going to say isn't going to make a hill of beans. But anyway, I started getting very nervous for some reason. And I was trying to say, why didn't you do the physical part of the physical? The classic physical thing, the grabbing and the coughing and whatnot. And so what I came up with was, I've heard that there are certain tests you get around this age, for things. And she just was staring blankly at me. And, clearly, I'm not saying she doesn't know what she's doing. She knows way better than I do about what's going on in there. But I could not bring myself to say the words testicular cancer or, test for that. Or even ask if I was, giving myself how to, do a self test for it, anything like that. Couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to say it. And on top of that, the other thing, I guess the way they check for, colorectal stuff is, prostate exam or whatever, prostate cancer, whatever that is. Maybe that just happens next year. I'll have to wait and see when I go back to the doctor. But couldn't bring that up. And I wasn't just about to, my brain, being the wackadoo factory it is, was just sitting there going like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, excuse me, why didn't you stick a finger in my butt? That's not something you just say to a doctor, because there's a test. The test, you're supposed to say what the test is, And believe me, not looking forward to either of these things happening at all. But I understand that they're a thing that you should probably have done around this time. And I'm going to be honest with you, folks. Cancer runs through part of my family like a river. So I'm a little nervous about it just in general. And then I go to the doctor and have this whole crazy interaction. But yeah, I had to stop myself from... I should have stopped myself from saying what the tests were, because it's a clinical thing. She's a doctor. This is like part and parcel, goes with the territory, whatever. Should have just said, you know, uh, test for, um, testicular cancer and prostate exam, whatever that stuff is. And I apologize if you're a very young person listening to this, and all of this is just disgusting. But you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna say it. I'm not ashamed of it. There's things you just got to get done in your life. This is apparently some of it. And chances are, if you're a guy listening to this, it's gonna come across you too. Same thing with ladies. They got to go to the gynecologist. There's tests in there. I'm sure some people don't want to get into the nitty gritty of, but here I am telling you. So I was stopping myself from saying the actual things that they are, the clinical things that I thought maybe I needed. And then my brain is constantly saying, one part of it is the little devil on your shoulders, like, just say something about your balls or your butt. Just say it. And then you'll crack up horribly. And this lady will be completely disgusted by you as a person because she'll think you're an idiot. And then the other part of it is saying, like, you can't say that. But you still think it's really funny. And in your brain, you're trying not to laugh really hard at the fact that you're thinking about balls and butts right now. And again, not a sexual thing at all. Not thinking about the other person's, areas. Just thinking about my own groin and buttocks is nearly bringing me to hysterics of laughter in the doctor's office. So I wish I could say this whole interaction ended with some sort of, really funny thing. But all of that just happened in my brain as I sat there and was like, there are tests. What tests? You get tests? And then she's like, I think we covered everything. And then I'm like, okay, all right, we're good. Good for me. Go blood? Do you give blood now? Okay, good. And then that was over. It was it. Then there was the blood test. That was another thing. Going in, getting blood drawn is always fun. I'm sure everybody knows that. But the guy who was taking the blood out of my arm, he's a nice guy. Not going to say he wasn't. Totally seemed nice. Had kind of the air of a serial killer. Just going to throw it out there. So, maybe he's just in the right line of work. Guy needs to see blood. He's there, taking it from people all day long. Maybe that is quieting his, blood rage or whatever is going on inside his head. But it's not like, he was in there like seething and acting like he was going to rip my arms off or anything. It was just like super, way too chill kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, what is he? Is he drinking half of this when he goes in the back? I don't know. But so that was my adventure at the doctor's. And now you all know way too much about my visit to the doctor. And you know too much about me. But you know what? That's the kind of relationship I'm trying to foster here. Don't tell me too much about yourself. Maybe. I don't know. Put whatever in the comments. If you had a funny doctor story, throw something down in there. Let everybody know if you're comfortable with that type of thing. Hopefully there won't be any really horrific things there. If the story starts off with stuff was just oozing out of maybe leave that story off. I don't know. Maybe not. It might be really funny for me to read. I just don't know. You know what? Whatever. Do what you want. I can see I haven't really been talking too much about, it's pertinent to the comic at hand, this whole story. But it looks like it's wrapping up here. I'm getting to the little tales, little word bubble tales. So we're encroaching on the end of this session. So again, I want to thank supporters on Patreon for making all these videos with me jabbering my jaws on possible. And I just want to thank everybody who's been reading the comic, watching the videos. Again, drop me a line. Get on Twitter, Facebook. Drop a comment here on this video if there's things you want to see in other videos, things you'd like to see me do or talk about that pertains to the comic or just life in general. Let her rip. I'd love to hear about it. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.